Well, we were going to talk about marketing, but honestly, we've gotten a lot of requests from our agents is how do you take down casinos the way you do?
Right.
You know,
So we want to learn how to win some money. Like nobody cares about marketing. We want
Yes.
to learn the ways.
it took a lot of losing to start winning.
That's
So,
typically what happens.
Right.
To
Yeah.
start winning is you have to lose a lot
yeah.
in life.
So,
Just
so you're
in
not
general.
just the Rain Man factor. Then you're saying you took some losses too.
I took a lot of out. I started playing poker and gambling since I was 21.
Wow.
So it's
And how old are you now?
31.
31. So 10 years.
10 years of experience. So
Oh.
it was good. And actually, I do want to talk about that because I did pretty good when I was playing poker and stuff like that and blackjack. And it was something about where I saw this quote that always said like, oh, don't focus on two things because one thing you're going to have more time on the other one and then one's going to go bad, right? So I actually won a lot of money and I put it towards an event. And I was like, oh, I'll just pay through everything from this winning. And the event went super bad, so I lost everything there. And I was like, okay, we can't just do that anymore. So everything I do now is just like super, all in marketing.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, my name's EfrenTheMarketer.
Efren Portillo is your legal name, correct?
Efren Portillo. On social media, I go by EfrenTheMarketer, and I changed my name. I don't know if you have. Do you want me to just freeball this or?
No. Well, we talked
No.
about what you're going to talk about.
Right.
So the whole purpose of doing this is we want to talk about social media.
Yes.
We want to talk about how to get more quality leads, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we want to talk about actual marketing and something that is effective versus just throwing whatever on the wall and expecting instant results. And that's one of the things that you and I talked about when we first met is your whole thing is about the long game. You know, you're not, a fast and dirty kind of guy that, hey, just give me X amount of dollars a month and we're going to spend this much and we're going to try to get this many leads. So I know your strategy is a little bit slower,
Right.
Yes.
but it's something that you can like truly create like roots and actually, build something off of. And it's something that I think now that, everyone's kind of impatient as far as wanting results, quickly.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that sometimes people don't want to hear that, but I think that strategy is probably something more effective.
So, like you said, people want instant marketing and some kind of ROI and something. So let me tell you a little bit about where I came from. And if you're just tuning in, welcome. So check this out. Before we get on like how much money we make a month or, where we started or anything like that, I kind of want to go through the story. I want to be like that person that's you're sitting on a table and you're having a drink and you're just kind of listening to me talk. Because I can sit here and tell you about a bunch of techniques that work, but if your mindset is in the wrong place, you're going to lose, right? So when I first started, MySpace was it. MySpace was the shit.
You're old, bro.
So-
First started like marketing or first started your marketing?
So originally how everything started, it was Pro Style Promotions, which was like, originally I started off as a DJ. And then I was 15, 16 years old at the time. And I couldn't land gigs at clubs or anything like that because I was young. And the cool thing is that I'm a really big dude. So I looked young, but I also kind of look old at the same time.
Right.
So that's at the time I met Eddie, which he was promoting, making flyers on MySpace and things like
That's
that.
Eddie Acosta. So Luna, that's everybody here reaches out to him for things.
Yeah,
Right.
and the way I met him, he put on a group. If you guys remember MySpace, there used to be like a thing on the side that said like bulletin boards before it got flooded with spam, and he was like, "Oh, join our DJ crew, get a free shirt and things like that."
Yeah.
So
Yes, I
I
remember
joined, and that's how I met Eddie. And we were young, and I was like, we can't get booked because we're young. So we started, I was like, okay, I'm going to go the other route on doing our own events. I can go and negotiate some of these banquet hall owners and try to do some of our own stuff. And then it started working out. So I was doing more of the booking the venues and trying to bring people in. And that's when I got into marketing because it, obviously the more packed it gets, the better money we make.
Right.
So from there, we use MySpace and we use programs and softwares and things like that. We didn't really spend money on marketing besides flyers and things like that. Eddie would be the DJ. I'll be the promoter. And we would print like 10,000 flyers. I'll put on my backpack. I'll start passing out flyers.
I know
right.
the
This
hustle.
this
I know
is
the hustle.
2008, 2009. we got so big to where we're making about $50,000-$60,000 a night on these bigger stuff.
Wow.
And the reason why I bring this up, because a lot of times people tend to think that they're not growing in their business or they're growing as an entrepreneur because people are holding them back, right? Or they're just not seeing it. So in 2008, we're, the economy's crashing, there's crazy shit, and we're fucking, that was the best I ever was doing, right? 2009, 2010. Not until I started growing a team in 2010 when I was like 20-something. I was young 20s. And hiring the wrong people made me lose everything. Like everything. Eddie and I mean, we went back to, Eddie went flipping freaking things at pawn shops. Was those signs called?
Come shop here kind of
Yeah,
deal?
come shop here. We were open type of signs.
Yeah.
I went
Eddie
back
did
to
that? Wow.
Yeah, I went back to working at Walmart. Like when you're making $80,000 per event, you obviously you're young and you have a nice flashy style,
Right, real quick.
and you lose everything. And you don't lose everything because of the economy. You lost everything because I was ignorant, right? I was ignorant, and I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna hire my friends, I'm gonna hire this person, I'll hire that.
Yeah.
And my delegation process wasn't good enough. And that's when I learned young. I was like, okay, well, I definitely screwed that up. But working at Walmart was honestly, working at Walmart was not bad because I learned how to structure things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, everything gives you an insight if you actually learn it.
exactly.
How to do something different that you haven't done before.
Yeah, and so I hit like complete rock bottom. And I was like, okay, well, this isn't working out. And I was trying to go back into that. And at the time, I was like still living at my mom's house. And I was like, no, just stay there. It's a good career job and this and this and that. And I'm just like, man, so
You'd be like a general manager right now.
yeah, we got
At least.
we got into a really big fight. And that's where I met Miguel. Well, I already knew Miguel, but Miguel is our client manager now. And he goes, hey, bro, you can stay here. So he literally opened up his house, and he opened up a door where I'm going to be staying at. And tell me, bro, it's a storage place. Like, it's a straight out storage. There's like beds on top of beds. He goes, yeah, you don't really have a closet right now, so you probably have to put it on the floor on top of the other stuff. And I was like, oh, man, like, right. But it motivated me to get out. It was like, okay, well, obviously it's not my bed. He's helping me out. And so from that time, I glued myself onto a computer screen, like straight out. The computer screen was open, and I would wake up from the bed, go on the computer, and I would probably work about 20 hours a day. And I did that for about 4 years or 3 years straight.
What were you doing?
I was learning how to build websites, and I was learning how to properly be able to present ourselves in front of big companies. And that was one of my biggest issues back in the day. I was really ignorant when I was like, I don't need them, right? You need me more than I need you, right?
Yeah.
So,
As a promoter, that's the mentality, right?
that is the mentality,
Right.
You're making all this money at a young age, and obviously you're gonna something bad's gonna happen from it. So 3 years, I think it was, I lived at his house, paid $300 in rent. So that just kind of tells you where I was living. Miguel was super cool, he's like, hey, I know you don't have the money for the rent right now, so just hit me up whenever, So I got there and I started just grinding, learning. They always say with the right mentor, it can put you years ahead.
Right.
At that time, I got with a mentor that put me years back because he was into the shady business. Oh, let's not do it this way. Let's save money on taxes by doing this route, right?
Right.
So it was one of those things that it set me back a couple of years, but I learned from learning to get people's information from multiple sources and not just one source. And from there, MySpace was still kind of it, but before I lost everything, I was romantic with MySpace. I love that.
Whoa.
I love that girl. Right? MySpace made me $80,000 per event. And this is why you should, when I tell people, don't just be on Instagram. Don't just be on Facebook. Because I lost a lot of money. And when it comes down to falling in love with the platform, say goodbye to your bank account.
Right.
Straight out. Right? So that's...
Especially when it changes like it did.
Yeah. It's kind of like the stock market. There's always, every 8-10 years, something happens. Right? So... And that's kind of thing with Instagram. Obviously, there's a lot of spam going on right now, and people are jumping onto TikTok, and there's just kind of it's getting diluted a little bit, and the user activity is definitely dying down, and you can feel that.
Right.
So going back to my story, I got really romantic with MySpace, learned the hard way, lost a lot of money.
Okay.
But I locked myself in this house day in, day out. My mom was still like, go back to Walmart. And I was like, oh, no, man, like, I'll figure this out, right? So I grinded for 4 years or so. And then slowly I met Omar about that time where I didn't even have an office. But I think I lied to Omar, and I was like, yeah, I have an office.
It's been that long, huh?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, so I known Omar for a while, and I had a meeting with Omar, and then he's like, oh, check out my office. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. And then I was like, yeah, I have a big team, and like we can do this, we can do that. At the time, when the 4 years, bro, I worked at AT&T, and I would leave work whenever I get a call from somebody. I'll be like, oh shit, it's a client, So I'll leave, and then I'll take VTO and things like that. I invested every single penny back every single time I got paid. Lost a lot of it because I was still learning.
Right.
And
you got to lose to learn.
I lost a lot. I lost hundreds probably now. And then so I learned that, and then I learned that paid advertising is good. It's amazing. Gives you that fast cash. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing like building a brand. Building a brand is what's going to get you getting those dividends every single week, every single month. It is not sexy sometimes, right? You sometimes are like, hey, I want some type of ROI right now where I can instantly grow.
Right.
But you're one change in the algorithm and you're screwed, right? So, and I know a lot of real estate agents are like, I want now. I want an ROI. I don't want to wait for SEO. I don't want to wait for none of that stuff. So,
well, because a lot of us feel like we want it now because we're already waited too long to get to the now.
Exactly.
And so that's the reality of why they're always like this.
Yeah. And to be quite honest, going back to that, like I say, you want now, I had to change my mentality because that's how I was. I was the I want now kind of type of deal. Mm-hmm. And I changed my mentality to, okay, well, how these rich and doing, like, I don't want to cuss, but
right.
I was like, how are these rich people doing it? Right. Why are they succeeding and why I'm not? And that's when I got into like mindset, waking up at like 3, 4 in the morning, going to, sleeping 4 hours, definitely changing my whole attitude. And obviously, I still practice that a lot because it's a big factor of not being, I like to live in a virtual reality in my mind, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I like to play things out in my mind and then like be like, okay.
Like ahead of time, right?
Ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the environment right now and you live in your environment,
right,
there's going to be a ton of limitations.
Right.
Ton of them.
It's almost like when you're driving down the road and you see the cars ahead of you, you got to at least know where you're headed and what you're coming up to.
Exactly.
Right?
So, and that's the thing. So you're probably like, oh, this person's, or you're probably not even thinking about it. It's just subconsciously you're being limited without even knowing. Mm-hmm. So I like to play everything in my head. And I wake up, so just real quick, I wake up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I go run, and then I meditate. Today's like my 65th day straight doing routines, not skipping any day. Even if I go to Vegas or drink a lot, like the night before, I still wake up early and I do it. Okay. So my morning routine is really heavy, but it's a lot about me learning about myself.
That's your time, bro.
Yeah, it's mental health is one of the biggest things, right? So like I focus on myself, and then it's funny because Christian, which is our client manager for Golo Print, goes, bro, were you really up at 3 in the morning or were you going to sleep? I was like, no, I'm already at the gym at 3.
I thought you had somebody posting for you at that time.
I focus on myself.
It's all pre-recorded. It's all pre-recorded.
I focus on myself, man. I actually hate going to sleep because I'm so excited to wake up the next day. Like I love my life, you know what I'm saying? And it's not even because of the money. Like you see me, I always wear the same thing. I have like 5 shirts and that's it.
Yeah, we know.
So
that's a new one though. I've never seen you in a flashy. That's like pretty flashy.
I took my girl to Macy's with me, and she goes, "You need something besides black." And I was like, "Shit!" Like, and she let me get this one. So if you're an agent right now and you're like, "How can I get out of this?" Honestly, you need a morning routine because if I show you the secrets on how to build a brand or how to make money, your limitations, your mindset is going to stop you because you still want that fast money. There's no such thing as fast money. I unfollow people. They're like, hey, become a traveling CEO. I'm like, you think Elon Musk is out there traveling 24/7? Like,
Right.
like hell no.
No,
Like
no.
there's no way. So if you look at the real people that are doing real things, there's no such thing. They're in the gutters day in, day out.
Yeah, there's no dream ride.
Exactly.
There's a lot of hard grind and work to get to where they've gotten and where we've gotten and where people want to get to.
Exactly. And actually, I don't know if Omar kind of knew this, but Omar was our neighbor at our old office when we were like a smaller spot. I would hate when I would leave before Omar. I was like, hell no, like I'm gonna stay here. And Omar stayed late. Like he stayed
does.
till like 12, 1 a.m. sometimes.
He
and
does.
then he would just.
And that's the thing that maybe some people don't always see, but that's okay. And that's okay. That's fine. But you know how it is when you're self-employed. Like, it takes those nights.
When we first got our office, they were paying $700 a month. I was like, oh damn, that's a lot of money. Like that's like 2 cars. That's a lot, And I told Omar, I was like, yo, bro, I was thinking of getting this other office, but it's $300 more. I was like making my life so complicated over $1,300.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I would go to Omar and be like, hey, bro, what do you think? He'd be like, bro, just do it yourself, bro. Like, if you think it's going to be a good move, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Omar's super cool.
I told you quit being a bitch,
He did.
is what I said.
He actually did tell me that. So when he told me that, I started hiring. And
I know how to push your buttons.
he does.
In a good way.
And honestly, like a lot of people don't know, Omar and I go really back. Like I would bump Drake so loud that he'd be like, "Bro, stop bumping Drake," and he starts putting Tupac, and I was like,
It was like a DJ battle.
yeah. So
It's like
I think my speakers were louder too.
yeah,
Okay.
they were. I couldn't afford a Mac yet, so we're spending $1,300 in rent, and my mind it goes back again to mindset. It's like I was afraid of spending $1,300, and I know this. You being an agent, you're like, oh, I don't want to. I know this because you guys tend to spend $50 on business cards, and that's how I know they have that mindset of scarcity. You can't make millions of dollars spending $50, right?
but they'll spend $200 on a night out.
Exactly.
More than that, bro.
More than that.
Exactly.
Right? Easy.
And I mean, my girl and I went out yesterday. And it was easily $150 on a Monday,
Right.
and with happy hour and stuff, right? So, why are you scared to spend money? And this is going back to I'm going to give you the recipe, but you have to spend money. There's no such thing as I'm going to make $1 million just networking. I mean, you can, but I mean, at the end of the day,
That's far, few, and in between.
it's going to be way more tough. So, so we got the office, and from there, I was like, okay, well, obviously I can't do everything. And at that point, I did so much stuff for free just to network. You know what I'm saying? And just to learn. So I did a lot of free shit. And at that point, I was like, okay, I need to start paying people. So Josh came on board, which he was, shouts out to Josh. When I called him, I don't know if he wants me to put his business out there, but he was on the unemployment line. And I was like, bro, you just got out of college. You have a degree. Come through. Like, hey, I need you.
Right.
I speak really ghetto, and I can't write and read. I was like, I need somebody like you. You know what I'm saying? And this is the cool thing about Goal Level Media. Goal Level Media is full of hustlers that know what they're doing. From the new hires to the OG people that started. Everyone has a dream of growing Goal Level Media into multiple, offices and a bigger picture. Everyone sees a bigger picture. But when we hired Josh and we hired Eddie, they were getting paid $200 a week. So I was getting paid like $150. And actually I stayed paying myself like $200 a week. Like $200, bro. Like that's not even rent. So what I would do for myself, I know how to hustle. So I would go to pawn shops and flip things to earn that extra money to pay rent and things like that. But I didn't want Josh or Eddie to go anywhere because I know that they're so big in our business that I knew I was going to need them someday, right? And that's me playing chess in my head and me seeing, picturing and seeing how everything is played out. And I was like, I need to pay them so they don't leave. And I'll figure out my own stuff. So figure out how to pay them. Obviously, it was still not a lot, like 250, 300. I was literally giving them everything that we were making.
Just keep them happy. And,
Yeah,
and
keeping
stay
them
with
happy.
the
Keep them
company,
there
yeah.
because you knew in your mind that
Mm-hmm.
even if the ROI wasn't there at that moment, again, you'd already played it out in your head.
Right.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's like when you have to have that blind faith, like, for example, like when I started the company, same thing. Everything goes back into the company. Everything does. Yeah. So you learn how to adapt your for example, your means, right? Live below your means.
Exactly.
And that's one of the NARP things that we learn with NARP.
It is.
Is like you live below your means.
And so, yeah, I mean, bro, so I lived at the $300, like you might see the penthouse now and stuff, but that's the only fancy thing I have.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else. And
But that's nice, bro.
it is a nice penthouse.
You
But
got that pull top.
Oh, man.
But the thing is, right? Well, I try not to show it so much because I don't want people to be driven by results. Which is good, for
By
labor,
material
whatever, by
things,
material things.
Yeah.
I don't want those. I don't like to push that. I don't like to push because then people want to do certain things and cut corners to have that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, 2010 to 2020. I mean, finally I started paying myself, but I paid myself for $200 a week. Going back to that is I spent a lot of the money into marketing, into things that didn't make sense there, right? Eddie would be like, bro, like there's no ROI. We're losing $5,000 a month here. And I was like, bro, just chill, relax. You know what I'm saying? And so going back to now, we have 15 in-house people or so. We're hiring people that are really qualified, right? The video team, Derek, we just hired him.
Hi, Derek.
Flew from New
Good to
York.
see you, brother.
Flew from New York.
Christian.
Lives down the street like 15, 20 minutes. Walks every single day.
What
to
part
the
of New York?
office.
Westchester County.
Westchester County.
Born in Flushing, Queens.
So born in Queens.
Born
So-
in Queens. Like
Everyone that we hire has some kind of background where if they really want it, they can succeed here. It's never like one of those things that like, oh, great, this is all you're going to do. It's like, hey, this is going to be your guys' department. And same thing with James. James, like, hey, this is your department. It depends on you if you want to make this department grow or not. And obviously, we give them a couple of months. We kind of fill it out.
That's
And
empowerment right there.
it is. I
Right.
took on a video team unannounced where I was losing $7,000 a month, right? And so, like, out of nowhere, I just took it on. And I was like, it's okay if I'm not going to make money now. I'm going to make money on that later, or we're going to grow that into a big powerhouse later down the road.
Right.
And a lot of people would think about that twice or three times, or they'll be like, no, there's no way, I don't have any clients for that.
Well, a lot of people talk themselves out of everything.
Yeah.
All the time. Most of the times they do. They talk themselves out.
Exactly. I'm kind of like the guy that roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying? So we took on the video team, so we now offer video and all that. And obviously we have GoLevelPrint.com, which is one company, and then Go Level Marketing, which is another company, and then Go Level Investments, which is like other investment side to all the companies, which we're trying to buy into multiple restaurants, and we have some Airbnbs and stuff like that in that as well. Little story, invested into a solar company, lost $250,000 in like 6 months. Horrible mistake, and the crazy part, it was my idea. So I learned from that, right? We take
Is
L's.
that when everybody was jumping on the solar bandwagon of this is the next big thing?
When you get into something because you want to make easy money, it's never going to work.
Right.
And, you think about it like, oh, Efren, how to get leads, how to build a brand, but I don't know how to hire certain sales, or it's just not my passion. And so if you're trying to get easy money right now and it's not your passion, it's not going to work out. And if it does, it's going to work out for a little bit and then good luck for the rest of the time, right? So marketing's just kind of been my passion. Even when it comes to like real estate on the investment side, I don't like to do anything. I'm just like, no, hey, actually sell this house, bring the money back to Go Level Media, and let's hire 3 more people. You know what I'm saying? So, that side has definitely helped boost Go Level Media, and that's where our baby is. And right now we're full of hustlers and things like that. So going to that, how we were able to market ourselves was a simple process of branding where we did not expect instant ROI, meaning certain campaigns took 6-7 months to see anything, and
that's a reality, right? That's like, how could you really throw a lot of money at it and change that number where it's less, or is it kind of evens out the same at the end of the day?
So, there's obviously some campaigns that I consider our office a marketing campaign, right? When you walk into our office, you're a client. You're not just handed a regular piece of glass of water or tap water. You're handed Fiji or sparkling water or some type of fancy drink.
Right.
Every time when you come in, we want to make you feel some sort of way.
Yeah, those little things go a long way.
They go a long way.
Yes.
And a lot of people even go cheap on the water. And I'm like, no, like, hey, Miguel, go and buy
What kind of water do we have in the?
Tap water. We got tap water.
If you're a
I
prospect,
think it's Kirkland.
Kirkland.
yeah,
Kirkland's good.
no Kirkland,
No Kirkland's?
or Sam's water or whatever. But honestly,
I don't have a Sam's Club. No, I take that back. I do.
from little details like that, it matters.
Yeah.
So, is there some kind of ROI there? I mean, not really. But people, when we hand like, hey, here's the menu. What do you want? You have sparkling water. Damn, Pellegrino in a bottle, and they always talk about they're like, oh man, you guys offering all this right now. So little details like that, all the way to someone called in the other day. Christian gets up and goes and meets this person right now and there, right? How do you think that person felt?
Right.
I can tell you that they referred somebody else, and Christian answered the phone this morning, which he's our sales guy. And he goes, hey, someone referred me to you, right? So there's a lot of little things that go a long way. And I know this podcast is called Turning Followers into Cash. And obviously, I wanted to tell you that story because it's not just you shooting one message and then that message turning into cash. It doesn't work like that. What I'm saying? So getting into social media now, that's where I think that story had to be told because people think that they can message or post things and get clients right away.
Right.
It
gives a background of you, and when they work with you and your company, and the people in your company, of how much they're going to care about when you're working their marketing business.
Exactly. That, and going back to real estate, right? Like the agents that you guys have for NexGen. I think that I would kill it if I was a real estate agent because I'm so active on Instagram. And it's not that I'm selling marketing 24/7 or like posting, hey, come check me out. We do business cards. We do websites. Like none of that. I document the process where, I wake up, post about it, and from there. People think that you need to talk about whatever you're selling 24/7. No such thing. So I went to Vegas last weekend. I'll give you an example. Last week I went to Vegas, and obviously I was gambling a lot, right? So my views jumped up from 1,000 or so to 4,000 or 5,000. So I mean, people were like hooked. People were like,
bro, you're showing all that cash though.
I know. And here's the thing, right? I do that, but with multiple things. So I was sharing a lot of cash. I mean, I won like $35,000 or so, right? And then
What'd you start with to get to there?
I took $5,000.
Okay.
And I showed Omar.
Yeah.
That was
proof.
It was proof.
I verified it.
Was it real?
Yeah.
You verified it? Okay.
So I was posting about that. And shit you not, I got a message on Facebook. Hey, bro, how much do you have to spend to get a hotel room like that in Vegas? And I go, oh, well, I mean, I've been gambling for a while. I got the M Life card, and we're talking about gambling. Hits me with, okay, cool, bro. Hey, well, anyways, I have a construction company, and I need a website. Website was sold because I was posting about freaking
Something totally different. They caught that person's eye.
Exactly.
Right.
So when it goes back to being a real estate agent, if you love to work out, post it, right? And you never know, somebody that likes to work out that needs a house is going to hit you up. And, obviously a lot of the seminars and things like that teach social media is like, post hashtags, post two to three times a day, post 3 to 5 minutes. I sit here and I tell you, screw all that. be active, be on everything, and leads will come in. You know what I'm saying? So
do you do the same thing and spread it all the same message to every platform, or
yeah, I mean,
or different platforms require different types of posting?
I don't like to think about that. I just roll with it.
Okay.
I just like, I'm going to post on Facebook today.
Yeah.
I want to post on Instagram. I want to post on.
So you don't have a set strategy in stone as far as post this many times this day or this day. You just like to post about your life.
Exactly.
And what you do. And honestly, that's big in attraction, right? Because I find that's what I tell my team here is that we don't recruit agents. We attract agents.
Right.
Yep.
Big difference on that. So we're not jumping up and down, screaming and yelling, come join our brokerage because we're the best. We don't. For example, I had an appointment this morning with an agent who's going to join us. And the response that I got from her as far as how she found out about it, she said, no, I just see you guys everywhere. As far as, your agents that are posting. And that's how I came to contact you, is people reaching out because of attraction again.
Yep.
And to me, that's the biggest thing. That's why recruiting versus attracting, I tell people we attract people. We don't recruit. So that sounds like the same thing that you're doing.
It is. And, you post a lot, believe it or not. I mean, you don't post too much about NexGen, but I can tell you that this office has the best, people that bring in food. I see the food platters that, your partners bring, and I'm like.
That's strategic.
I was like, I'm going to NexGen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big boy, so, I'm going over there to see what's up. And that's what it is, being active. People like to overthink posts. People like to overthink, oh, I only got 10 likes. I only got 50 likes. I have 5 followers. I'll do it when I get more followers. Well, while you're waiting over there, I just made $100,000 this month in our businesses because just being active. Ask me how much our marketing budget is for Goal Level Marketing. Not a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's me being active. And Goal Level Print, it's a whole different game on that one because we're testing things. But while you're waiting, somebody else is posting. Mm-hmm. And while somebody else is posting, they're making money. Simple as that. And you don't need 1 million followers. I mean, I have 100,000 followers now, but I had 2,000 or 3,000. I mean, I don't really care about followers. I don't care about being verified. I don't care about, being on Yahoo Finance, on the top entrepreneurs. I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I care about just posting and people interacting here and there, and it obviously works.
And you just post stuff that you like to do and
Yeah.
that you're doing right now or whatever it may be, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes some of my posts get 100 views or 200. I'm just like, I don't let it get to me. You know what I'm saying? So I do what I like, and people out there will come and join the movement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
when people are out there, if they're out there posting and they start exposing their life of what they like to do, how are you going to help them from there?
Yeah, so they obviously see that we're the real deal, right? When I post on my video and I'm like, hey guys, check this out. So right now we're converting a nightclub here in downtown Phoenix. We're converting it into a gym. So the back end, which is called Track Club, the back end is actually going to be a fitness center. We're splitting the building into legally and turning the front into an actual bar, like a lounge. And I post about, hey, check this out. There's nothing right now. It looks like it's dead. And then I go back to the office. I'm like, hey, this is Vanessa, our graphic designer. She's putting this together. And then I go all the way to the printing process, and then we print it. And it's cool because people can drive by there and be like, oh, bro, I know who started this, I don't physically own the business, but we started the branding from scratch to where it's at. And I like to show that. And that's
just content, it's building content.
It's building content, and to be honest, the content on Instagram disappears. Where I'm saying, and I don't care. I just post it. You know what I'm saying? I like to be everywhere. My TikTok, I got to get a little bit better at that. But now that we have video people, it's game time. But we spent thousands of dollars sponsoring the Lowrider show. They came and said hey, we have a $50,000 package sponsorship if you want to join. And I was like, I ain't paying 50 grand. So we offered them a bunch of free prints and the free websites. And then we paid $0 to be on TV, to be on radio, to be all over the Lowrider show, which 20,000 people showed up that weekend, and next to Modelo. So we did that sponsorship because we wanted Gold Level Media next to Modelo and the name of the stadium, which is State Farm. So if I can be on a flyer with State Farm and Modelo, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. And if I can get it for free,
Which it wasn't free. I mean, you still paid out of pocket basically, but it wasn't 50 grand.
So when you have everything, when you're a one-stop complete shop, like 3 grand.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of paying 50 grand.
Right.
Right. And there's so many opportunities like that. There's so many opportunities that people.
But for them, that was a lot of work that they needed.
Exactly.
For what you provided.
Ask me what my instant ROI was on that. Nothing.
How much was your ROI on that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Lost a ton of time, money, and paying people for things. But showed up to a meeting this morning. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Mo Money Mo Pon. The really big gun dealer, right? And they go, well,
I love that place.
What have you done? And that guy I go, oh, well, this is what we've done. And I brought out our reference with Modelo, with State Farm, and Gold Level Media. Oh, I love Modelo. Like, and then, some
you like co-branded yourself with
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And so I co-branded. So, oh, bro, I love Modelo. Oh, you guys did that, right? That's my ROI. Is I can talk about it. I can present that to them. And this guy goes, well, oh, hey, well, my budget is this much. And I was like, that's definitely more than I thought it was going to be. But you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and do it. So that's why we were running a little bit late, because we were there. And they're knocking the whole pawn shop, and they're turning it into a $3 million building in the back. And it's going to be all brand new, remodeled. And we're doing a bunch of this stuff here. And we're going to document the whole process and upload it to YouTube, upload it to TikTok, upload it to everything. And that's what we do. It's when you're on the phone and you're posting on Instagram. If you do this, hey, what's up, guys? I'm currently outside of this house. We're about to show this property. If you need a real estate agent, message me. You're losing. You're going to lose. No. Why do you want to follow anybody that's a spam machine? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be so authentic that it's just natural. It's, they're going to know what you do if you post enough, right?
Right.
If you post a meme.
But you can drip that a little bit though, right?
Yeah, you can drip a little bit. Yeah. But have you ever seen that meme that says, my cousin hired a realtor while they know I was a realtor? Well, you're posting that meme because it's your fault. It's because you're not posting enough about what you're doing, and they're going to somebody else that is.
Right.
So if you posted that meme, I know a lot of you guys have, you can definitely do better.
Stop chasing it, right?
Yeah. Let them come to you.
Yeah.
The best type of marketing is when someone comes knocking on your door. We don't cold call anybody. We don't run cold ads for certain things. I mean, we dab in it here and there, but there's nothing like hot leads. People coming to you. Christian and Miguel are always having to say, oh, Efren, actually Efren isn't in day-to-day, but, they want to talk to me. And I like, obviously, Miguel and Christian now have like a script to say to close them, and it works. Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. And so if you're out there and you're trying to really get leads from social media, Facebook, whatever, flyers are cool, but flyers won't get interactions. Flyers are more of this is coming from somebody that prints flyers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. No.
Somebody that prints flyers, I can tell you here, the best ROI is just posting. Posting raw content. We run ads from phones. Sometimes when these nice cameras are being shot and filmed, and you boost those, you don't even get a good ROI on that. If you post a picture from your phone that looks more realistic,
right? A little more gritty, right?
Yeah. The conversion on that is way better than if you hire a full videography team and You take 10 days to script something, and then next thing you know, you're boosting it, and you're like, hey, this isn't working. You know what I'm saying?
A whole lot of waste of time.
A lot of waste of time. So I do shoot a lot of the ads that we do run ads when we do is through the phone. And that's something that, you know, if you're an agent and you think that you need a nice professional video team, no offense to our video team, like
Well, there's
again,
things necessary for it.
there
though.
is necessary things.
Yeah,
but when
so-
you think that that is what's stopping you, it's not.
Right.
That's just like you have a cake and there's a cherry on top. Oh, cool. I want the cherry. That's cool. Like,
Right.
it
So
makes it look good.
it's almost like if you're gonna go out and get a video team and they're gonna follow you around for a couple days, and then you have all this content,
Yeah.
but you're not actually posting.
I know
and-
a lot of
right?
I know a lot of clients that do that. They
Right.
record. Oh, I don't like this, or like, oh man, this didn't come out good.
Right.
Like, just post it. You're hurting yourself more by not posting.
Exactly.
So, and you know, we offer everything because obviously, like when it comes down to a certain level, you do need nice professional cameras. You do need nice sound. You do need nice flyers, nice business cards, and things like that. And when that day comes, great, but don't be scared to spend money. You can't make $1 million spending $50. No way.
So when they talk to you, because you're talking a lot of big numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they talk to you and say, "Hey, I want to start really getting out there, marketing," like, I know all budgets are different, right? So
Yeah, I mean, we have clients that pay us like some they're paying like $700, and then we have some clients that are paying us like $15,000 a month. Like, it's all over. And that's the cool thing about us is we like to pick and choose who we work with now. If you have the mentality of, hey, I'm really trying to make this work, we don't really care too much on the price. We like to actually help. I physically have went around where we don't charge certain people sometimes. Don't think I'm not, you know, like,
Right.
like giving free stuff away. But
well, nothing's for free. It comes from somewhere. Yeah.
So there was this popcorn lady, like COVID hit, and we were a little bit slow, you know what I'm saying? And obviously we took a big hit when COVID hit right away, but we were able to change right and adapt. But when COVID hit, a lot of owners didn't have money for marketing. And I always told everybody in our team, because everyone in our team is like, oh, how much we're getting paid? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, what matters is this person's going through a really tough time. And being a business owner, you have ups and downs. There's some times where when COVID hit, I was in my office and I was just like fucking tearing. I was like, I went from making this much to $4,000 a month. Like, how do you want me to survive?
Yeah.
I put my salary at 0 when it hit. I put everything at 0, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out. I got to keep the team to a certain point, and I made sure that they got paid. And I went back to my hustling ways. Like, how can I hustle to pay my stuff? And COVID showed me a lot. Showed me that I need to diversify.
I think I did that for everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of people got like put in that position. Like, you got to figure something else out.
Exactly. So I diversified. That's when I really went heavy on Go Level Group, and we bought a lot of, you know, certain houses and flips and Airbnbs and owning little percentages of different companies, different industries. And this is a reason why, if you're in real estate, we take only a certain amount of real estate, or a certain amount of restaurants, because restaurants took a big hit, and they were a big hit like during COVID. So we lost all our restaurant clients. We lost all our entertainment clients. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. It's adapting and not being afraid. I could have easily just we could have fired everybody and be like, no, come back in 6 months. But I told Eddie, I was like, yo, if we can get through this tough time right now, just wait until the economy starts opening up.
Right.
And look at us now. Like, bro, I still spent money that I could have easily said, like, no, I need this money. Right? And he's like, hey, bro, let's not spend that much money on this. And I was like, nah, bro, like, once the economy starts opening up, it's game.
Right.
Everybody else shut their doors. Everybody else fired everybody. Can't pay certain the offices and things. Not once did I not pay anything. Everything. Just paid everything. And I doubled down on marketing. I said, Vistaprint stopped all their paid ads. So we were converting at $15 for $30 business cards. And then I started drip campaign where we would benefit off the second and third month from the initial, $15 of the conversion, and we're turning them into a profitable customer within 2 to 3 months. So I said, yo, Vistaprint's not spending money. Pepsi, Coca-Cola aren't spending money on Facebook. Everybody was so shook, and I said, nah, screw that. Let's fucking. This is when I wasn't even paying myself during COVID. You know what I'm saying? During COVID, I didn't pay myself. So during COVID, I doubled down on marketing. I was like, I'm getting some kind of ROI. And that's rare. It's rare when you get a positive ROI. So we shot our Facebook, our pay-per-click, our everything up. And it was positive, but it wasn't like I'm balling kind of type of deal. But the economy opened up and was slowly opening up. And we're seeing the benefits from a year ago when everybody was too scared to spend money on Facebook, to spend money on Instagram. We doubled down and we're seeing the fruits now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that's why it's like one of those things, like, you just don't know. You got to double down on things that when it seems like, if you're buying stock right now, I'll see you in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just following the trend. When you can follow the trend up, or you can follow the trend. I'm scared. I want to cut all my marketing budgets, but that's not how you make money. You're making money when other people go left, you go right. They go right, you go left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're sleeping on it.
They're sleeping on it. So Vistaprint, all these big companies weren't spending money while we were, and we ran it, and now we're running even more. Even though we don't have a positive ROI now, that kind of went away. But we're getting a lot of big clients now.
So for a real estate agent, the main thing I'm getting is that they got to build their brand.
Yeah.
And not necessarily what they're selling, because that's all variable. It's building the brand that they want to be attracting, right?
Yeah, and honestly, if you're an agent, or a lot of people have multiple businesses. They're not just agents; they have some other type of thing too, right? And this kind of goes all across the board. Is TikTok is giving you an organic reach, like huge organic reach. Why are you still so focused on Instagram, right? You have to see where you're getting those views and where it's taking less effort. I can tell you, I post something right now. Organically, I might get seen by 7% on Instagram. I post something right now on TikTok. I mean, I have 20, and I think I have like 10,000 followers or something. More than 10,000 people will see my content. Like, I have like a couple of videos that hit 1.5 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they have nothing to do with marketing, but they click on my links and they start following me on Instagram or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you're an agent, this is why I told the story earlier. Don't be romantic with a platform, because that can be the downfall of your brand. Build your brand all across the board. Focus on, on where the trend, like where once TikTok starts making money, you're gonna need to start boosting things and things like that.
It works that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and once TikTok is really big, you're gonna wish you were on TikTok, and then you're gonna start doing TikTok, and then I honestly think Facebook is gonna come heavy. I slept on Facebook from MySpace days when I was so romantic with MySpace, and then they're like, I forgot who told me, was like, oh, have you heard this new thing called Facebook? There's a lot of college kids and this and that. I was like, man, no, this is making the money. Like, I ain't trying to move over there.
Right.
And then once I started getting onto Facebook, like everything was getting expensive already. So learning the platform and things like that took a while.
So what do you think about when, like, if I post something that tells me to boost it, tells me to pay this amount of money, tells me to do all these different things I do, how effective really does that work?
Honestly, you should boost certain things. If you look at my Instagram right now or Facebook, I post a lot on my personal Facebook, because a personal Facebook gets or more organic reach than a business page. So like if you post the exact same thing on the business page, only like 10% is gonna see it. If you post it on your personal page, you're gonna have like 20 people, or 20 to 30%, like kind of see it. So I post a lot on my personal page, and I add a ton of people. If you're not maxing your 5,000, then you're losing money. And so build the personal while building the business page, because the business page is your brand, right? If you look at EfrenTheMarketer Instagram, I don't post on my actual feed every day, like on the little square things.
Right.
But it's actually my portfolio. If you look at my Instagram, my latest post is DJ Envy shouting me out. The next one is me and the team. The next one is, me, I think Omar and I, right? If you actually look at my feed, it's more of a portfolio, and I boost that. And then they start following me. Then my Instagram stories, that's where I hook you to like me. Obviously people don't buy a service. They buy, they like to buy the person, or like, hey, Efren, I know you're a little bit expensive, but I like you, right?
Right.
And so,
Well, people want to relate and do business with people that.
if you can relate with them,
Right.
and this is something, Christian is new, was not too new with our company, and I was like, you don't have to be a salesperson. They just have to like you. That's it. And that's something that I do. I don't really. Our meetings, I mean, they're mostly about random stuff, and then we're like, okay, let's get down to the actual meetings, right? But that's
the banter is part of it.
yeah. So, do we still have time? I got 6 minutes. So yeah,
6 minutes.
Well, we have Bianca Supat over
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Shout out Bianca.
Thank you,
So-
Bianca.
sorry, I was a little bit late. So, I could sit here and tell you like, hey, use 3 hashtags on Instagram and on Facebook. Join Facebook groups. But I think you know that.
Right.
I think you're sitting on the other side of the screen right now and be like, I know that. But is there really a secret? And there's not a secret. You can't trick Google. You can't trick Instagram. You can't buy 100,000 followers and expect them to all be there the next day. There's no such thing. And if you're waiting for the big secret or the big cutting edge technology that's going to take your business to the other side of the world, like, there's not. Branding, make sure your logo is on point. Make sure that you put your face on everything. Make sure you're consistently being active. And I know you can be active.
And you're being authentic.
Authentic. Yeah, don't be fake. Right? The same person you see on Instagram, you see me here.
So if I came to you, I met with you and I came to your office, whatever business I do, and I'm like, hey, I need to get my act together.
Yeah.
And you look at my Instagram, because I've heard you seen it before. I've heard you say before, like, wow, your Instagram is this, or
Yeah.
you got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? You kind of comb through it just by looking at it real quick.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that you help with building that brand.
We do help with building the brand. Okay, so when I say flyers, I'm used to thinking like really nice flyers, like that works. But when you're putting your logo on something that looks janky, like you have 5 different colors on the flyer and your flyer is distorted, looks really low quality, when you go and sit down with a big client, they'll be like, oh. Something I noticed about rich people like to brag about how much money they spent. And if your stuff looks cheap, they're most likely not going to tell you their other rich friends, right? So make sure that when you put a logo or you do make a flyer, it doesn't look distorted or doesn't look like it shouldn't be there, and all that. And it's funny because my brother's here. He's a vice president of, congratulations on your new job, vice president of Pacific Premier, right? And he always like, oh, friend, you can't be wearing shorts to these meetings. I'm like wearing shorts right now. I don't know if y'all can see this.
They are Daisy Dukes.
They're
He likes to show off. You like to show off.
You know what I'm saying?
He does that on purpose.
It was my
He does it on purpose.
plug for my legs. No, it's good. So he used to tell me, he's like, you can't show up to meetings like that. And it's actually funny. I went to a really big meeting like this, how I'm dressed. This is my dress up, by the way.
Oh, no, we seen you at Mastros.
Yeah. And so if you did see me on Masters, you saw that's how I dress regularly, you know what I'm saying? But shouting out Fernando because he got that position. He's always dressing up nice and stuff like that.
He is. When I saw him walk into the office the other day when you guys installed
the thing?
he was dressed down. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah. We're used to like seeing him in shorts, but he's doing a lot of loans for like businesses. And I got to say this, what almost took our business down was hard money loans, square loans, 15 to 20% interest.
Crazy.
A freaking bro, like every time like somebody bought something to Square, they took their money out, right? And that was really bad, like really bad. We did multiple loans like that, but at the time, you know, obviously I didn't have the cash or the funds to do that, and it was really small profits after the interest and thing like that. And I go to Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo's like, oh, I can approve you for a $2,000 credit card. It's like, what am I gonna do with a $2,000 credit card right now? I mean, there's way more money sitting there. And I go with him, and then he's like, yeah, I can approve you for about $250,000. I was like, okay. So like, I was like, okay, let's go over here. But you know, and that goes back to finding the right people on your team that can make things happen, right? If I would have stayed at Wells Fargo, my mind would have been like, you know, how can I grow my company? I couldn't even get approved for $1,500.
Right. It totally barrels you down. They bury you down to little circles so that unless you come in with a big circle, a big pile of money, then they do all this dancing.
At one point, we were even sitting at a couple $100,000 in the bank account, and I applied for a credit card, and they denied me. And I was just like, what the? Like, that's crazy, right? And then you go over here with these smaller banks, they actually care. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They want to help businesses.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if you're sitting out there and you're a real estate agent and you're thinking of like, you have a client that needs to get approved, like, don't give up on them. Find another solution. And that's something that helped us a lot. Like we had to maneuver to a lot of things. And hopefully you can pivot and finding what your client needs too. That's a big one. I mean, if you're just sitting there and you're like, I don't want to deal with this client, you know, like, cause we have some of those, you know what I'm saying?
We all do.
I'm pretty sure some people hate working with me, you know, and they're like, oh, Efren's annoying and things like that. But I work at a certain pace, right? And there's no such thing as a speed limit when it comes down to how fast you want to work or, you know, and my girls are like, you need to slow down. I was like, to who? You know, this is my regular speed. I'm going 100 miles an hour. And, you know, sometimes I do take a breather and stuff, but I like it.
I think the thing with that, though, that when you go whatever speed that is or pace, that you tend to attract the people that are going to be running with you like that.
Yeah.
Like running with wolves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want to bring a turtle into, you know, a rabbit race or whatever,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
But the turtle won, though.
No.
And yeah, I mean, I could be completely
That's
wrong.
a bad story. That probably was a bad story.
Yeah.
That was a bad
Well, the
analogy.
thing is,
I
I'm
like the wolves running with wolves better.
I'm ignorant at certain times. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to think ignorant was a really bad thing, and I started looking up the definition and things like that, and I was like, everyone's ignorant, right? Like this is why I never get into politics, because they're right. I'm right. Everyone's right, because that's how they grew up. I can't feel the same as this person felt because they died from COVID, right? Like I just can't.
Yeah.
So that's what I focus on myself, is trying to be a little bit less ignorant and see everyone's perspective. There's a lot of people saying like, oh, I can see this perspective of this person, but can you really? No, like you didn't go through that emotional process that person did.
And you know, and I could say that when I know when I deal with you, and I know we deal with you, that you give us a perspective that, because us as real estate agents and business owners, we're in our own minds right now. And you come from a perspective like, well, that sounds good in your mind, but that's not going to work on this platform or here or this kind of marketing. And you kind of dial it in for us a little more, which is what we appreciate and why you're here for us. You know,
and that's what we're good at. We're the professionals, and kind of like when you go to a lawyer and you tell a lawyer, well, can I do it this way? And they go, I'll tell you this. My perspective, you know, this is the law and this is the trouble you can get into. That's what we do in marketing. You come and you're like, hey, Efren, I was thinking of putting 1,000 posts a day with my NexGen logo. And I'll be like, hey, Omar, that's probably a bad idea, you know, putting your logo out there that many times in one day, you know what I'm saying? And we'll kind of go from there. And that's what we do, right?
Right.
You can listen to us or you can continue doing it the way you're doing. But it's been really rare when we're wrong about some type of marketing campaign. Some owners like to get some instant ROI. I tell them, hey, that's great, but there's probably not going to be an instant ROI. We lose a lot of money because a lot of other marketing agency goes, yeah, bring it over. We'll get you an ROI.
Right. They tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, they tell them what they want to hear. all our company never has. I mean, I haven't even seen a contract for Gold Level Media. So we will never put anything like that. We will never cripple you or your business just because we want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell everybody in our company, if we make you money, then we ask for more money.
Right, you expect the return low, right?
Yeah,
because you're gonna grow it even more. Like,
yeah,
if
exactly.
we show you, like you done it for us.
Yeah.
We show you it works, and then we just add a little more as it goes.
And you see, marketing is kind of like a recipe, sort of like you can't overcharge for certain things. And, no matter how much money a client has, you cannot overcharge them. It's kind of like, that you're going to buy a Coca-Cola bottle for $1. It doesn't matter if it's a rich person buying it or a poor person buying it. That Coca-Cola is worth $1.
Right.
So that is what we do that. We're like, hey, this is what websites go for. This is what this goes for. This is what this goes for. So everything is super, priced out, right? And the cool thing about us is that you don't have to go to 20 different places to get your marketing done. You need printing, we got you. You need a website, we got you. You need, consulting, we got you, right? You need SEO, we got you.
Right.
So, so I don't know if there's questions or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
let's
about
get
to
to
break
that.
to that.
Alexis Salcedo does have a question. She
Mhm.
says, does he recommend to spend a certain amount of money for online leads? I mean, the more the better, but what does he think the minimum should be?
When it comes down to retail, it's not pricey at all. What's pricey is spending your time to filter out the process of if it's a qualified lead or not. Instagram and Facebook tend to have a $15 to $20 range per lead, depending if you're using a better Facebook pixel with more data on the Facebook pixel, meaning
Real technical stuff.
I'm going too technical.
No, you're good, bro.
Okay,
You're good. Let's keep going.
then you can get it down to like $10 to $7 a lead.
Yes.
The problem is there's a lot of bots and a lot of spam on Facebook. So you're going to receive that data and you're going to be calling these people and no one's answering, no one's doing certain things. So, and that's something that you got to keep in mind, that the cost per lead is not what's going to cost you. What's going to cost you is having someone to call these people and try to qualify them. So if you only have one person doing this, obviously this person can only call a certain amount of people, or you can set them up on some sort of drip campaign. But there's nothing like an actual phone call from someone that speaks English or Spanish and talks their language and can adapt to that. So the question, I guess the answer is depending on how many people you have following up. If it's just you, it depends on how many calls you can do in a day.
Okay, that kind of leads into another question. Jessica Martinez asks, how do you manage the traffic when you bring it in? That's my hardest task to keep up with.
If you start getting traffic to your website, and this is why WordPress is great.
And we're talking about websites, right?
Websites. Now we're talking about
not the social side. Websites.
Correct.
Okay.
Websites.
Okay.
Well,
Well, a lot of her leads, I would imagine, come through social media because
Right.
Jessica's one of the agents that's very active and
She
she
is
has
very-
great content.
Oh, so,
Right.
so it's not the website?
She just said, how do you manage the traffic when you bring it in?
It's a CRM thing.
Yeah.
It's a CRM thing, but at the end of the day, Jorge is really great at that. But I know Efren, we talk about that too, as far as having a funnel. Like once it comes in, then what?
So depends. If it's through Instagram and Facebook and social media, I'm active. I screenshot and I send it to our salespeople, right? And then they call and they do whatever they got to do. If it's, I think, a cold lead or whatever, I try to send them to a funnel or to a website or to a landing page. That goes into our CRM system that slowly starts to get marketed to.
She did follow up. She
Okay.
says, I go viral often and get hundreds of messages, but I don't know how to keep up.
Yeah, there's actually this thing called Heroes. Look it up. You can connect your social media platforms, and Heroes would actually, depending on certain keyword phrases they use, it automatically responds. So you can be sleeping. Someone says, hey, can I get more information about real estate? Or even just mentions the word real estate, they get a certain message. You can keep it kind of broad,
Yeah.
and then it automatically responds to them.
Okay.
And so there is platforms out there. We use a couple of them for bigger clients, but for my personal brand, I haven't invested into it. Okay.
No, perfect. Well, that was a great story, Efren. I think we covered a lot as far as what we were going to talk about, how to turn your leads into.
Yeah, I know you were looking more for like a top secret.
But I mean, this is what it comes down to the individual person.
The secret's you, right?
Yeah,
the secret
is you.
Secret is yourself.
And for YouTube, yeah, I mean, real quick to run it down, YouTube does like 10 to 15
minute videos, right? Versus shorter videos, but that shouldn't tend to stop you from posting a 3-minute video, right? Facebook content video does do video content does do better than actual picture content. Instagram now is going more into a video platform than a picture platform. TikTok is now trying to compete and bring in more revenue, so the organic is going to go down. Like all this little stuff it's not what's gonna make you.
It's always changing, evolving, just based on how people use it.
Yeah, and the new iOS 14, I think it is, on iPhones are affecting Facebook and Instagram and Google ads, and so like there's nothing like organic in building a brand. Yeah, right. It's great, but things change, and what doesn't change is your brand unless you really screw up on something.
And things are more driven towards organic content, right?
Oh, facts. Google and platforms love organic. Like they love content, how rich it is, and the quality of it. Like it's just what helps win the war.
And original content.
Original.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Don't copying and pasting is not original content.
Right.
Yeah. We actually have like
16 writers just always writing. And we proofread to make sure there's no other pieces of content in there. So but yeah. You got any questions?
Well, let's see here, B. No, we're good. Well, Efren, we want to thank you for giving us this time, and you gave a lot of great content, a lot of great information. So
I appreciate it. Instagram, or you just Google me, EfrenTheMarketer. If I show up dead, don't worry. I'm alive. It's a long story, but yeah. Other than that, thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah, thank you, Efren.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.